John Walker for Lakat TV, and today we're making mashed potatoes. And we want to make the best mashed potatoes you ever tasted. In my world, mashed potatoes have to be smooth. I like the lumps to be soft, if you have any at all, where they just melt in your mouth. You want to start with a good product, and we're going to start with Yukon Gold potatoes. A little bit later, I'll tell you why I selected Yukon Gold potatoes over what I formerly used was russet potatoes. So let's get started. Let's break open this bag and we're going to take a closer look at the potatoes first. Okay, what we have here, I selected 4 of the potatoes. I'm only making mashed potatoes for 2, so there's no need to make the whole bag, but I selected 4 of the larger. The first step is we're going to rinse the potatoes, then we're going to microwave the potatoes. And you'll find if you use the microwave, the potatoes turn out much more creamy and soft, perhaps than just boiling them. Okay, the next step is we want to wash the potatoes off. We're just going to rinse them off a little bit. We're just going to take in the sink, just rinse them off. You don't have to rinse them much. They're clean already. Just rinse your potatoes off. Now, after rinsing the potatoes off, prior to placing them in the microwave, I just like to pierce them a little bit with a fork a couple places. That way they don't explode in the microwave. I don't think they really would explode, but we're not running a chemistry class here, so you pierce them a couple times, then place them in the microwave on the microwave setting. Now, like I said, most microwaves have a potato setting today. So what you do is you just touch the potato setting, and then you touch your start button on the microwave, or it starts on its own, and you're off and running, and your potatoes are now in the microwave, and they'll cook the required time. The microwave has steam sensor, and the steam sensor will tell the microwave when your potatoes are done. Now here's a little extra information. Why does the microwave have this fine grid in here? Well, microwave, just as it says, microwaves are like radio waves. They travel. However, they cannot penetrate, or they need a certain space to penetrate. If the space was larger like this, the microwaves could come out of your microwave. But when they're small, like in the grid here, the microwaves cannot penetrate and come out of the microwave oven. So the screen, in effect, keeps the microwaves inside your oven so they can do their work inside. Okay, the next step is to peel the potato. I do peel mine. Some of you may choose to just clean up the potato, remove the eyes, remove the blemishes, and mash it with the skin. However, I like to remove the skin, so I apply a little water. I use a paring knife just to break the skin. I usually will go around it like this in 2 directions. Once I've broken the skin, shut off the water, and I'll just peel the skin. Now when I peel the skin, if I find any defects in the potato, for example, there's a defect right here, I'll just cut that out. I don't want any defects in the potato. There's usually some defects in the potato around the area where it grew in the ground. This is usually the area where the root was, where the potato grew off the stem. So I will clean that all up. But Now I'll remove all the skin from this potato, and once I finish, we'll come back and I'll show you what I do next. Okay, here we are. The potatoes have all been peeled. They're in the bowl. We're ready to start the mashing process. Okay, here's our masher. We start with the manual masher first. I'm just going to mash them up. Now I'll just mention one advantage of using the microwave is you control the moisture, the amount of water you add, and the amount of half and half. So, but first I just mash them up, put a little salt, and add a little bit of butter. You also want to salt to taste. Believe it or not, it takes a lot more salt than you might imagine for 4 potatoes. What I'm putting in here is just the first bit of a little bit of salt. If you don't want salt, you don't have to use salt. But salt helps in the cooking process. It's better to put the salt in as you continue cooking. Now the next ingredient I will add after the salt, I'm going to add some butter. I'm probably going to use it for this amount of potatoes, 1/2 to 3/4 stick of butter. So let's add the butter. Okay, now we put the potatoes back into the microwave for 2 minutes. We'll put them in for 2 minutes, and when they come out, we'll mash them a little more. So here goes our potatoes back inside the microwave. Okay, I've just removed the potatoes from the microwave. Now I'm going to mash them some more. Okay, as you can see, I'll mash them a little bit more. You might notice they look a little bit dry. So now it's time to add our third ingredient. Remember the first 2 ingredients? One was salt, one was butter. Now for our third ingredient. Okay, here is our third ingredient. It's Countryside Creamer, 1/2 and 1/2. I will add some 1/2 and 1/2 to it. And after I add the 1/2 and 1/2, I will mash it a little bit. And then I will put it back into the microwave. Now I'm adding a little bit of the 1/2 and 1/2 throughout the mixture. And the goal here is to get it the consistency that I want, or the creaminess I desire. Now the fourth item I'm adding is simply a little bit of water. Now I can add water back in. Once again, I'm shooting for a certain consistency. After I add the water, I'm going to blend it a little more. You gotta be careful that you don't splash it out. And I'm going slower than I normally would, but oops, sorry about that, folks. I'll mash it some more, blend it, and be careful. Like I said, you may splash some out. So we'll blend it some. And I said the fourth ingredient is water. I will add more water, more 1/2 and 1/2, until I achieve that mixture I desire and the taste I desire. Now after I removed it from the microwave, really when the potatoes get to the point where they no longer stick to the hand masher, I do away with the hand masher and it's time to use the blender. But before the blender, one more time back in the microwave. Actually, it'll be a couple more times in the microwave. But remember, I only do it 2 minutes at a time. Sometimes usually 2 minutes, 22 seconds, because I just punched the 2 3 times. So back in the microwave for 2 minutes. Okay, folks, we're ready to start doing a little blending. This is just a simple Sunbeam mix master. It has several settings, as most blenders do. You know, the nice thing about Southern cooking or any cooking, really it's not the utensils. It's the recipe, it's the ingredients, it's the love, it's the care you put into making what you're making. This blender, believe it or not, we don't use it much. It's about 27, 28 years old, but it still does the trick. So remember that. It's not the fancy or expensive items, unless maybe you're working in a restaurant, you really need a commercial quality instruments or commercial quality products. It's really the ingredients and the love and care you put into making your recipe, making your dish. Okay, I'm ready to start blending. Let's start blending. Also going to add a little bit more water. Going to have to get some more, and we'll blend a little more. And you might remember I said I control the moisture content, or I control the consistency of the potatoes by adding water in half and half in the quantity I wish to add. Okay, we are blending. And you notice I'm blending on low. There's a reason you blend on low. Really, if you blend on high too much, it'll break down the starch and it will affect the flavor and consistency of your mashed potatoes. Now also, while you're blending, be sure to check your salt. You may need to add a little more salt. Remember, season to your taste. Don't over salt, but season to your taste. Okay, here's the final shot. It's really done. It's ready. I just would like to heat it one more time in the microwave. I'll show you the approximate consistency of it. You can see the consistency of it. And we're ready. So one more heat and one more little blend, and the mashed potatoes are finished. Okay, yum yum. Here's our finished product, our mashed potatoes, and I guarantee you these are the creamiest, smoothest mashed potatoes you will ever have. Just follow the instructions I provided and you will be able to make lovely mashed potatoes. It only takes about 30 minutes total time. Thank you. This has been John Walker for Le Cod TV.